Hey guys, welcome to the episodes Be College Bound with IvyBound. I'm your host, Ruchi S. Kothari. I'm super excited that you've joined me. It's that time of year. Yes, it's that time of year where you meet with your high school counselor to decide your next year's classes. So today, I'll be discussing with you how to best select your high school courses so that you portray yourself as a competitive candidate for admissions. I'll be going over all that and some more in a few. Be College Bound with IvyBound is a series designed for people like you, high schoolers, and their parents, where I advise, guide, and support you through your college admissions journey, offering you admissions tips, tricks, and secrets to stand out and present your best self on your college applications. These strategies are easy to implement, yet very impactful, helping you to get admitted into the college of your dreams and create a future that you would love. Do you want to get into your dream school? Of course you do. Well, stay tuned. All high school students choose their academic classes with the direction of their high school counselor, which is a good thing, but without really thinking through how these classes may affect their college admissions strategy and ultimately their college admissions. Today, I'll discuss what colleges expect of you in terms of your choices of your academic courses. I will go on to discuss 5 things to consider before selecting your classes for the next year, while providing you admissions tips, tricks, and secrets on what you should do specifically if you are applying to a highly selective college. This is some really important information, so stay tuned. Remember, we're going to get through your college admissions journey together. Yes, we're in it together. And at the end of each episode, I offer live office hours with myself, Ruchi S. Kothari, where I answer 3 college admissions questions that high schoolers or their parents post. Today, I will be answering the following questions. 1. Is it better to get a B in an AP class or an A in an honors or regular class? 2. It isn't easy getting an A in an advanced class. Can you suggest resources that I can use so that I can strive for that A? 3. If I do not plan to major in Spanish, do I still need to take it for 4 years? So if you have any college admissions questions, please leave it in the comment box so I can answer it next time. I'm so thrilled to help you in any which way I can. Just so you know, each week I release an episode as a podcast and few days later, the same episode as a YouTube video. So I encourage you to go check it out if you need a visual example of the topic being discussed. You can find my YouTube channel by searching up IvyBound Consulting. Feel free to check out all of my podcasting videos. And please don't forget to subscribe to the Be College Bound with IvyBound podcast and YouTube series and leave me a review in the comments. Thanks so much. A quick subscriber shout out to Justin from Madison, Wisconsin. Justin says, "Thank you, Ruchi, for opening my eyes in your last episode to the massiveness of Operation Varsity Blues and its effects on high school students, and especially athletes like myself who are trying very hard every day to be recruited by a top college. I'll definitely continue listening to your podcast series to find ways I can best present myself on my college applications. And I'm also going to share it with my friends." Thank you so much, Justin. I'm so glad you found my previous episode helpful. I know the details were a lot to take in, but necessary to understand the entire picture and really understand the implications it has on high school athletes like yourself and other high schoolers. Justin, I appreciate you finding my Be College Bound by IvyBound series useful and are sharing it with your friends. Stay tuned for much more to come. If you have something to say, I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to my podcast or YouTube series and leave me a comment. I enjoy reading each and every one of them. Today's episode is sponsored by the Be College Bound by IvyBound series, where I guide, advise, and support you along your high school to college journey. I have a lot of exciting episodes planned for the year. It's everything and anything under the sun about college admissions. So please subscribe, rate, and leave me a review. If you have a burning college admissions question that you want me to answer in the live office hours with Ruchi S. Kothari, then write the question in the comments below. Please continue to listen to the Be College Bound with IvyBound podcast or watch the YouTube video series. Click the link to start listening or watching now at www.ivyboundconsulting.com/podcast. As I bring massive clarity and integrity into the college admissions process, I have helped many high schoolers through their journey with the products and services offered at ivyboundconsulting.com, and I hope to help countless more. Without further ado, let's get started with today's topic at hand. Many of you have already or are in the process of having your course selection meeting with your high school guidance counselor. I'm going to use the word counselor generically here, as some of you might have these meetings with your academic dean or advisor. This time, before you finalize your classes for the upcoming year, I'd like you to listen thoroughly to this insightful episode. If you would like a visual representation and want to enjoy following along, download the transcript from my show notes for this episode at ivyboundconsulting.com/004. No need to frantically take notes. I've got you covered. Before we move on to the 5 things to consider before deciding on your classes, I will discuss the difference in academic curriculum expectations of your high school counselor. Again, this may be your dean or advisor, and that of a college and its admissions officer. Your high school counselor comes from the perspective of your school and the student body that attends it. The curriculum, whether it's an AP, IB, or another curriculum, is usually determined by the school administration, Board of Education, and the state you reside in. That is, if you are a public school. If you attend an independent school, it may be an educational association that governs the independent schools of the area. Thus, the course offerings are already predetermined. The primary goal of the counselor is for the student to meet all high school graduation requirements. They do not want any student not to graduate because the student forgets to take a graduation requirement. And definitely not on their watch. That's their first and foremost concern, that all students graduate. Secondly, they want to make sure each student is following an upward trajectory of the classes they are taking, whether it's English or math, but more importantly, that the student is at their comfortable level, whether it's an advanced, regular, or the special education track. The high school counselor does not want any student to struggle. And if you or your child is experiencing that, please reach out to your counselor at once. They are there to ensure the mental and physical well-being of each student and help them find resources to secure a smooth ride. On the other hand, colleges and admissions officers have different expectations. For one thing, their community is much larger, spanning from students all over the world. Thus, their academic requirements may be more general in the sense it does not adhere to a particular system, be that an AP or an IB or another one for that matter. Their goal for the course requirements for the entering freshman class is to ensure that the students are prepared for the rigor of academia at the college. Remember, college classes will be challenging, and the admissions officer does not want you to choke under pressure. Thus, they have minimum requirements for each subject: English, math, science, history or social studies, and foreign language. We will discuss the expectations of colleges in greater detail later on this episode, where I ask you to actually stop and complete an exercise. More on this later. And over the course of this episode, I will continue to provide you admissions tips, tricks, and secrets on what colleges are looking for when they look at your course selections on your transcript. So stay tuned. To make your high school to college journey even smoother, I've created an IvyBound worksheet for you to complete and follow along with this episode. After all, that's my purpose, to help Each and every one of my students get admitted into their best fit college through the Be College Bound by IvyBound series and the IvyBound products and services I provide. So download your How to Best Select Your High School Courses IvyBound worksheet at ivyboundconsulting.com/004 and start maximizing on it. This is some really good stuff. Okay, let's move on to the 5 ways to best select your high school academic courses. Number 1 is start with your high school profile. A high school profile is a very resourceful document that is created by the high school itself. The document provides a wide variety of information about the school, including information about the size of the student body and the types of classes offered by the school, whether it offers AP classes, follows the IB system, follows the dual college enrollment classes, or adheres to a completely different system in itself. The profile also includes high school graduation requirements in terms of the minimum number of classes you must take in each subject to graduate from high school. It also lists the grading scale, course weightage, how to calculate GPA, and the class rank information. The school profiles go on to offer the reader school statistics on the average SAT or ACT and other test scores of the student body, and college placements of the previous graduated classes. As you can see, this one document is a very essential piece, not only indicating to the student what classes are needed to graduate, the type of classes offered, whether it's honors, AP, IB, advanced topic, dual enrollment, or other, but it is a crucial tool used by the colleges during the application process to understand the course offerings and the grading scale of your school and decipher your ranking amongst your school community. The high school profile is such a vital component of the college application process that I think it deserves an episode by itself. Stay tuned for an episode about the high school profile and how it is used in the college application review process by the admissions officers. For the purpose of this episode, I will focus on how you can use the high school profile to best select your academic courses so that you are creating a high school curriculum that the admissions officers find compelling and competitive. Going back to the high school profile, many high schools do offer this, while others, especially independent or private high schools, do not make this readily available to its students or parents. My daughter attends a private high school that does not offer any such information. We are only given information on the high school graduation requirements. If your case is like that of my daughter, the best thing you can do is to put some pieces together. The first place you should start is, of course, with your high school's graduation requirements. Then go on to the school website and look through the course offerings to determine the advanced, honors, or other class offerings in each subject area. This will require some research on your part, but you can do it now that I've given you the exact steps to take and a worksheet to compile your findings. It shouldn't be that difficult. Reach out if you need guidance. Just DM me at IvyBound Consulting on Instagram or PM me at IvyBound Consulting on Facebook. I urge all my subscribers to print your high school profile and keep it handy. It is a splendid tool to go back to each year for high school requirements and to gauge where your academic performance falls, whether or not you're moving in an upward trajectory in terms of your rigor of your classes, your grades, and ranking. I would like you to download How to Best Select Your High School Courses IvyBound worksheet and use it to answer the questions I have on your high school graduation requirements and other data sets that could be found on the high school profile. If you're driving or can't get to the IvyBound worksheet at this time, don't worry. You can download it at your convenience from my show notes for this episode at ivyboundconsulting.com/004. Moving on to point number 2. Fulfill your high school graduation requirements. I know I've already mentioned this, but this is such an important point that it warrants further conversation. Getting back to choosing your academic classes, the first step is to verify each year by looking at your high school profile, checking your school website, and confirming with your high school counselor that you are on par with the graduation requirements. Remember, Each high school is different and have different graduation requirements. Thus, it is important to understand and fulfill the graduation requirements of your own specific high school. Be proactive here. Don't wait to be reactive. Come June of your senior year, you don't want to be the kid that doesn't get to walk because you missed a semester requirement of computer literacy, or you just didn't fulfill the 3 years required for sciences. You don't want that, do you? Of course not. Neither does your high school, nor do I want that for you. So confirm these graduation requirements if you haven't done it already. It's usually typical for high schools to have the following graduation requirements: 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 2 to 3 years of science, including at least one lab science like biology, 2 to 3 years of history or social studies, 2 to 3 years of foreign language, 1 year of art, which includes visual and performing arts. There are other requirements as well, such as financial literacy, life skills, computer literacy, driver's ed, or health. I have just stated some general requirements. Again, they change per school. For example, my daughter's school requires 3 years of art. Your best bet is to look at your high school profile and confirm with your high school counselor. So before you start picking and choosing your classes, make sure your classes are in line with meeting all graduation requirements. Done. Now that we have this important task crossed off the list, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is take the core 5 all 4 years. Hey guys, if you're multitasking here, please come back to me because this is a very important point. You might not be aware of this, so I have an admissions tip for you. If you are in any way thinking of applying to the top 50 nationally ranked universities and colleges, you must take the core 5 all 4 years. There's no way around it. Right about now, you're probably asking me, what's the core 5? The core 5 consists of the following fields of study: 1, English, 2, math, 3, science, 4, history or social studies, 5, foreign language. You might be a bit confused right now because your high school graduation requirements may be different from the core 5 all 4 years. You may be only required to fulfill 2 years of history classes or 2 years of a foreign language. So you might ask me, why do I have to take history or foreign language classes all 4 years then? Especially if I'm not interested in these classes, nor am I planning to major in these classes in college. If you have been attentively listening to the podcast or watching my YouTube videos, you already know the answer. Do you want to take a stab at the answer? My answer is to look beyond your high school classes to your ultimate goal of being admitted to XYZ college or colleges. In fact, I'm going to give you a 1-second pause here so that you can state your goal of being admitted to, fill in the blank here, university. Next, I would like you to go onto this college's website and find the high school curriculum requirements for the college. These requirements are usually listed under admissions, then under the link for the first year applicant section of each college website. I have my first admissions trick for you here. Go to the website of the top 3 colleges you would like to attend. Then note down the high school academic requirements of the college before you confirm your high school classes with your counselor for the upcoming year. In fact, I made it very easy for you. I provide a table for you to enter the course requirements of your top 3 college picks in the How to Best Select Your High School Courses IvyBound worksheet. If you look at the table that I created, I provide Stanford as an example. Stanford's requirements for the high school curriculum are as follows: English, 4 years with significant emphasis on writing and literature. Mathematics, 4 years with significant emphasis on fundamental mathematical skills, which includes algebra, trigonometry, plane, solid and analytic geometry. History or social studies, 3 or more years. Such courses should include the writings of essays. Science, 3 or more years of laboratory science, including biology, chemistry, and physics. Foreign language, 3 or more years of the same foreign language. Even though highly selective colleges like Stanford may suggest 3 or more years of a subject, In this case, it's history, science, and foreign language. It is your safest bet to take these core 5 classes all 4 years. I have an admissions secret for you here. It's actually expected of you to take core 5 all 4 years. So take my advice. Just take the core 5 all 4 years. This way, you won't put yourself out of the running during the application review process when your application may be compared to that of another candidate's and he or she does take the core 5 all 4 years. Okay, I think I said this enough, but since it's so important, go back to your high school profile or your school website to look at your school's course offerings and definitely take the core 5 all 4 years. Enough said. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4, take the most advanced class of each subject if possible. As your years progress from your freshman year to your senior year, your high school and the colleges you will be applying to want to see an upward progression of your classes. Here I mean in terms of the rigor of the classes. Typically, many students in their freshman year may start out with foundation courses and should move on to honors, AP, or whatever advanced type of classes available to them in their high school curriculum. Again, it's best to refer to the high school profile and your counselor to understand your high school curriculum. The point being here, I don't want you to miss this. So listen up. The point is that colleges want to see if you can successfully handle the challenges of an advanced curriculum, which to them correlates to you being academically successful in their college community. My advice to you here is to take the most advanced classes as you can possibly take and still perform well in them. There are 2 important things here that I'm talking about. 1, take the most advanced class possible in the subject. For example, if English Honors is the most advanced class offered in your sophomore year, then take that course and follow the upward trajectory. 2, strive to get an A in these most advanced classes. I know, it's easier said than done. And yes, I'm not taking the course, you or your child is. Nevertheless, do everything humanly possible to get an A in the class, other than cheating, of course. Yes, no cheating allowed. You don't want to get suspended, expelled, or worse. Have this course of action written in your high school counselor report, which is provided to the colleges you apply to. So don't cheat. If you would like to hear or watch something really juicy on the biggest college admissions scandal, then tune into episode 003 at ivyboundconsulting.com/003. It's worth listening to. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we first practice to deceive. Okay, going back to taking the most advanced classes that you can possibly take. Since we are talking about subjects, let's go on to discuss the common trajectory for the core 5 classes. Again, I'm going to give you a disclaimer here. Each school has various types of classes that are offered in the subject and different requirements. It is best to double check with your high school counselor. Number 1, English. Most high schools require 4 years of English. The typical progression is English 1, possibly honors may be offered here, moving to English 2, possibly honors may be offered here, moving to advanced English in your junior or senior year. English classes move on to advanced English, like if you're in the AP system, you may have an option of taking AP English Language and Composition or AP English Literature and Composition. You may also have multiple choices of English electives during your junior or senior year, like Black literature or medieval poetry, or a wide variety of other English electives. The goal here, again, is to show an upward progression of the most advanced classes you can possibly take in English. Moving on to math. Usually, math has a pretty straightforward progression. Most students start out with Algebra 1 or Geometry as a freshman. There's usually an advanced and a need help track for each class. The progression is as follows: Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, Trigonometry, and Calculus. Most colleges want students with 3 years of high school math. The more competitive colleges prefer 4 years of math. So, like I said, stick to the core 5 all 4 years and you'll be safe. As more and more electives are being offered, many high schools are offering AP Statistics, Stats and Sports, AP Microeconomics, or AP Macroeconomics as math course offerings, again, usually in the junior and senior years. I have an admissions tip for you. It is best to follow the traditional math progression of the subjects I just mentioned, which are Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, Trigonometry, and Calculus in whichever combinations that your high school offers. My business, engineering, and math students, listen up to this admissions secret. Completing an advanced level of calculus is almost compulsory these days to keep your application in the running during the application review process. So if you're thinking of taking AP Statistics in lieu of AP Calculus, don't do it. AP Statistics is considered an elective and doesn't hold the same weightage as AP Calculus. We'll talk more about electives soon. Moving on to the sciences. Science. Science, again, is pretty self-explanatory. Colleges want to see that you've taken at least 3 years of science classes and at least one laboratory science, like biology. The traditional courses that are still preferred are, in some combination, biology, chemistry, and physics. Here's another admission secret for you. Colleges that are more competitive and selective expect 4 years of lab science courses. The 4th year, again, the core 5 all 4 years, can be in an advanced class in biology, chemistry, or physics, or another advanced science course. Some science electives that are offered are environmental science, AP psychology, which can also be a social studies elective at some high schools, design and engineering, which can also be an art elective at some high schools. Again, it is best to check the science offerings by referring back to your high school profile, website, or your high school counselor. History or social studies. This subject has the most flexibility in terms of course offerings and when the specific class is offered. For example, many high schools offer some form of U.S. history, usually during a student's junior year of high school, but some high schools may offer it sophomore year or another year in high school. Nevertheless, U.S. history is always a required course for those students studying in the U.S. Usually, the high school requires students to take some combination of U.S. history and world history. Moving on to the last core 5 subject, foreign languages. High schools these days offer a myriad of foreign languages to choose from, ranging from the more popular ones like Spanish, French, and Chinese to the ones that are gaining popularity like Arabic. Many colleges require at least 2 years of study in the same foreign language. However, this course selection is tricky and not evident. So I'm going to give you another behind-the-scenes admissions secret. Colleges expect you to take 4 years of foreign language, preferably one language taken for all 4 years of your high school career, so that you develop some proficiency and mastery of the foreign language. Now that I've thoroughly covered the core 5 and hopefully ingrained in your mind to take the core 5 all 4 years, let's move on to the last point to consider before selecting your classes for the upcoming year. Number 5, choose your electives wisely. As a freshman and sophomore, you may not have many options for choosing your electives. You may spend these 2 years fulfilling graduation requirements like driver's ed or health. Usually, as a junior and a senior, that is when your schedule allows you to consider the multiple electives that might be offered by your high school. Some schools do have a plethora of options, while others offer the more common ones like computer science, psychology, or economics. Before you choose your electives, I'd like you to take some time, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, even a day or two, if needed. Take this time and reflect on the major you are considering for your college. You may not have narrowed down your choice of major, and that's okay. Work with me here. You may have an idea of subjects you like or are stronger in, and possibly a career you would like to pursue. So start with that. Let's say your interest is in computer science. go ahead and choose the computer science electives. If you are thinking of being a history major, choose those electives that are offered in the history department. And if you are considering a business major, do take an economics course if it is offered in your high school. Follow this admissions trick. Even with electives, it is imperative you take the most advanced classes as possible. Going back to the examples I just mentioned, over the course of your 4 years in high school, move up to AP Computer Science if you're interested in computer science, AP Comparative Government if you're considering history, and AP Microeconomics for a business major. Again, this is if these courses are offered in your high school. Retort back to your school profile and keep it handy to find the most advanced courses possible. In regards to electives, there are some students who might be undecided for the major they want to pursue in college. For those students, I suggest selecting those electives that allow you to learn about a subject area you would like to pursue. You never know, you might find an academic field that you are passionate about. This is a good time to branch out and discover new things. But don't forget to get decent grades, preferably A's. And there are other students who are very eager to try something new. Go ahead and take a class if you're dying to take it. Electives offer a perfect opportunity to explore a particular interest or hobby. However, my highly motivated students, listen up here. I have an admissions tip for you. Selective colleges like to see that you are choosing electives that complement your choice of major and not randomly choosing electives or core courses here or there. Before we move on with this episode, I have another admissions secret for you. It looks like I'm just showering you with lots of admissions tips, tricks, and secrets love today. I hope you're taking it all in and will act on these strategies when selecting your high school classes. Okay, the admissions secret is elective courses, regardless of how advanced they are, do not hold the same weightage as advanced classes in the core 5 subjects. Please be aware of that and choose your core classes and electives wisely. Here's a quick recap of the 5 ways to best select your high school academic courses. 1, start with your high school profile. And if you don't have a high school profile, you know what to do. Start with your school website. 2, fulfill your high school graduation requirements. 3, take the core 5 all 4 years. 4, take the most advanced classes in each academic fields as possible. 5, choose your electives wisely. As we're reaching the end of our discussion for this topic, I'd like to leave you with a recap of all the admissions tips, tricks, and secrets that I provide you in this episode. Remember, these strategies apply usually to selective and highly selective colleges. 1, before you start picking and choosing your classes, make sure your classes are in line with meeting all graduation requirements. 2, if you are in any way thinking of applying to the top 50 nationally ranked universities or colleges, you must take the core 5 all 4 years. It's implicitly expected by these colleges, so take my advice. Just take the core 5 all 4 years. This way, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone, meeting your high school requirements and you showing to the colleges that you are applying your love for learning and desire to continually challenge yourself in terms of academic coursework. 3, go to the website of the top 3 colleges you would like to attend. Then, note down the high school academic requirements for these colleges before you confirm your high school classes for the upcoming year. 4, colleges want to see if you can successfully handle the challenges of an advanced curriculum, which to them correlates to you being academically successful in their college community. 5, it is best to follow the traditional math progression of the subjects I just mentioned, which are Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, Trigonometry, Pre-calculus, and Calculus in some combination or another. 6, business, engineering, and math students. Completing an advanced level of calculus is almost compulsory these days to keep your application in the running during the application review process. 7, colleges that are more competitive and selective expect 4 years of lab science courses. 8, colleges expect you to take 4 years of a foreign language, preferably one language taken for all 4 years of your high school tenure so that you develop some proficiency and mastery of the foreign language. 9, even with your choice of electives, it is imperative that you take the most advanced classes as possible. 10, selective colleges like to see that you are choosing electives that complement your choice of major and not randomly choosing electives or core classes. 11, elective classes, regardless of how advanced they are, do not hold the same weightage as advanced classes in the core 5 subjects. Please be aware of that and choose your core classes and electives wisely. So, there you have it. Take what you want, create an action plan, and leave the rest. And don't forget to share the Be College Bound by IvyBound series with your friends. Calling all my subscribers, if you'd like to be featured in IvyBound Consulting's Instagram and Facebook, screenshot yourself listening to this podcast or watching the YouTube video. 2, share it on your stories along with your biggest takeaway. 3, tag 3 friends. 4, don't forget to tag me at IvyBound Consulting and hashtag IvyBound Consulting Podcast or hashtag IvyBound Consulting YouTube video. Okay, before we wrap up, let's have a quick office hour session with myself, Ruchi S, Kothari, where I end each episode with answering 3 real-time college admission questions. The first question I will answer is a question about academic classes that I answered in episode 001. This question is so important and pertinent that I'm going to repeat it here. The first question is from Tejas from Fremont, California. He asks, is it better to get a B in an AP class or an A in an honors or a regular class? Hi, Tejas. That's a common question I get from many of my students. The answer to this question is not very straightforward. If your high school offers more weight to an AP class over an honors or an average class, I would suggest taking the AP class and settling for a B. However, Tejas, if you're applying to a highly selected college, maintaining your GPA is critical. With that being said, if a certain AP class like AP Physics 2 is not your cup of tea and will give you anxiety, then take the class that is more manageable and that you get an A in that class. Hope I answered your question, Tejas. Moving on to question 2. Janine from St. Louis, Missouri asks, it isn't easy getting an A in an advanced class. Can you suggest resources that I can use to ensure that A? You are absolutely correct, Janine. These advanced courses are pretty rigorous and demanding, many often being at the college level. In episode 001, I provided a downloadable worksheet called Your 2020 Goal Setting and Planning IvyBound Sheet, which talked about various resources to use to ensure your or your child's success in high school. You may find the link to this invaluable worksheet on the show notes to this episode at ivyboundconsulting.com/001. Okay, let's get back to the question. The resources I recommend to ensure an A or your success in your high school courses are first and foremost going to your teachers. Go to them and ask for help. They would be more than happy to help you. Many high schools also offer writing, math, science, or tutoring centers. Use them. They are excellent resources. You may approach your friends, parents, or family for assistance as well. Other resources are getting outside tutoring, or you may look at online programs like Wyzant, Varsity Tutors, Khan Academy, or Albert.io for AP help. Janine, make a list of all these resources and make sure to use them. I'm sure you will get that A. Our last question for today comes from Ty from Seattle, Washington. Ty asks, if I do not plan to major in Spanish, do I still need to take it for 4 years? That's a good question and a question that I get asked very often, Ty. Like I mentioned in this episode, foreign language is one of the core 5 subjects. Selective and highly selective colleges implicitly expect you to take all 4 years of a foreign language. So, Ty, follow my advice. Take Spanish for all 4 years, even if you do not plan to major in it. Are we golden? Or should I say, are we IV? Yes? Good. Okay, folks, that's all the time that we have for today. I'm thrilled that you tuned in to listen to the Be College Bound with IvyBound podcast or watch the YouTube video series. I have a lot of exciting episodes planned for the year. It's everything and anything under the sun about college admissions, so please subscribe and leave me a review. If you have a burning college admissions question that you want me to answer in the live office hours with Ruchi S, Kothari, then write the question in the comments below. Don't forget to join me next time for an entire episode dedicated to rapid-fire questions and answers about everything and anything under the sun about college admissions in live office hours with myself, Ruchi S, Kothari. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks so much for tuning in. I'm leaving you with something to think about. Make it your own. Your college admissions journey is unique to your experiences and circumstances. Use your intelligence and your talent, and yes, you have many of them, to make the best of your journey. So make it your own. Bye for now.